From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Robin Chan with today's Voice Briefing. It's Thursday, May 16th, 2024.
This is Todd Spangler, Washington correspondent for the Detroit Free Press. There has been a lot of concern lately over electric vehicles from China taking over the American market. Members of Congress have railed about Chinese EVs, urging the Biden administration to do something. And former President Trump, on the re-election trail, has said Chinese EVs will result in a, quoting here, bloodbath for Michigan's auto industry. Well, on Tuesday, President Joe Biden, also running for re-election by the way, did something pretty big. He took the existing 25% tariff on EVs from China and quadrupled it to 100%. That means any EV that might be sold here from China will cost twice as much. Biden also increased tariffs on a bunch of other Chinese technology, including semiconductors and lithium-ion batteries also needed in EVs. The reason is pretty simple. The administration has spent the last 3 years setting up programs to help pay for American EV factories and get people to buy those products. Biden has also talked up how he wants union workers in Michigan and other states to make those cars and trucks. Raising tariffs against China comes with a risk, namely that China will raise its own tariffs on American goods. That can hurt businesses and result in higher prices, though Biden's staff says it isn't worried. As to whether the tariffs will stop Chinese EVs, some of which cost only a third as much as an average American EV, the future will tell.
I'm Susan Tompor, and I'm a columnist at the Detroit Free Press. A much talked about reduction in credit card late fees would have gone into place May 14th. But it is now being delayed indefinitely. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau issued a final rule on these late fees in March, but bankers pushed back immediately and took the case to federal court. On May 10th, a Texas judge issued a preliminary injunction which stopped the rule from going into place on May 14th. We'll wait and see what happens next. Currently, credit card issuers charge an average of $32 for a late fee when you don't make the minimum payment on time for your credit card. We're looking at a 75% cut in fees if this new Consumer Financial Protection Bureau rule goes into place. Consumers must pay careful attention, though, to some key changes that credit card issuers are already making. The issuers say they'll need to make up lost revenue if an $8 fee does go into place. We're spotting significantly higher interest rates for all consumers, even those who pay on time, at some store-branded credit cards, such as Lowe's. Some cards are also charging a new fee, $1.99 a month, if you want to receive a paper statement. Read all the materials that are being sent to you by your credit card issuers very carefully. Does your credit card now have a penalty rate of 39.99%? Hard to believe, but some do now. It's best to pay bills on time. If needed, set up automatic payments each month for at least the minimum payment owed. That way you can make sure that you're not hit with a late charge. And then, if you want, you can pay the rest of the balance each month just as you'd like.
I'm Andrew Burkle with the Free Press Sports Department. The Detroit Tigers have been diabolically bad at the plate the last 2 games. The Tigers started a series with the Miami Marlins on Monday at Comerica Park. The Marlins entered the series with the worst record in baseball, but going into the bottom of the 8th inning, the Tigers were down 5-3. That's when first baseman Spencer Torkelson, struggling mightily for pretty much the entire season, blasted a 2-run shot to left field, giving the Tigers a 6-5 lead and eventually the win. It was a clutch victory for the Tigers and seemed like the exact kind of spark the team needed after losing the prior 3 series they had played. Turns out, the clutch home run did the exact opposite. Starting pitcher Reese Olson gave the Tigers a complete gem on Tuesday, throwing 8 innings and allowing only 3 hits and no runs. But the Tigers couldn't even manage a run in regulation and lost in extra innings 1-0. That was bad, but law of averages, right? Wednesday had to be better. Nope, not the case. Casey Mize gave the Tigers another really strong start, surrendering 2 runs in the first, but then not allowing another run the rest of the day. Despite getting 7 hits and holding the Marlins to just 4, the Tigers lost again, this time 2-0. The loss dropped the Tigers below 500 for the first time this year. Detroit will have a much-needed day off today before traveling to Arizona to face the Diamondbacks with some unwanted baggage. That is, of course, a 19-inning scoreless streak. The Tigers are a young team, so you knew that the hitters may struggle at times, but the pitching staff keeps proving it is more than capable of keeping them in games. If the Tigers can find a way to just get some timely hits like they were doing earlier this year, they can keep winning games. But man, this past series was pretty ugly.
Find more from the Detroit Free Press on freep.com. That's FREEP.com. Thanks for listening, and you'll hear more from us tomorrow.